Giants Daboll talking about calling plays. He's the head coach. He did the research. He's talking down at the breakfast meetings. Now, everybody's got questions about the Giants and how it's handled. And we've seen the Daboll, roller coaster. Things are great. Things are bad. Things are great. Things are bad.
What?
I'm not calling plays, but this is everybody else's fault.
Yep.
Him, Tyrod Taylor situation at the end of the first half. That was like kind of the beginning of it. Now the Daniel Jones situation. Saquon Barkley's out of the building. The Giants are seemingly quickly becoming a place where, like, their fans are acknowledging, like, we're in a bad spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something's up.
Daboll's the head coach of that team. He spoke down at the NFL annual meetings. We do not have the video, where he said he did the research. 20 coaches call plays that are head coaches. Now, I haven't done the research. I haven't decided what I want to do. It's a lot of work to be in the play call, in the play sheet, while also being the head coach. For me, this is just like Doug Peterson. Now, Doug Peterson, we got nothing but respect and love for, but it's like these guys get jobs because of how good they are at calling plays and how good their offenses are. And then they realize, like, oh, there's a lot for me to deal with and not able to call plays anymore. That's a fascinating thing. Like, if I'm an owner, it'd be hard for me not to be like, hey, you know why you got this job? Yeah. Is because your offenses are good. You know why your offenses were good? Because you were calling the plays. So figure out how to call plays. But then there's also like the having to deal with defense, what's going on, injuries, what's going on, game management, what's going on, everything, strategy, decisions. It's like a lot. How do you feel about the whole thought process, AJ? And they all hired Sean McVay's, all these owners. And Sean McVay calls plays. But then some guys decide that they're not going to call plays. It's like, well, why did you get the job? If you were
the owner, you would think like, hey, I hired you. Say you were an offensive play caller and you had not been a head coach before. I hire you to be my head coach because you're such a good play caller somewhere else. I know you're a great play caller. I don't know if you're a great head coach yet. That's the thing. You have to prove that you're a great head coach.
Here's Daboll live from the annual league meetings talking about it.
Do you plan on calling plays? Is that something that you want to do? You want to take that over? I mean, you've done that obviously in the past.
Yeah, no, look, like I told Tom, we're still going through a lot of things with our process. Long way to go into the season. So we'll talk about that.
When you came in here, obviously you were a play caller.
Yeah.
And decided not to do that as a head coach. Cool. Do you prefer to be a head coach that doesn't call plays, and you would do it if you think you need to? Or you prefer, I mean, obviously the first 2 years you preferred not to.
Yeah, it's something that I'm looking into. Talked to, I think there's 20 head coaches at this point in time that call plays in the league, which is on both. So I think it's 20. There might be a little bit more, but again, I've been doing a bunch of research, but no decision's been made. I'm still going through that process and thinking about what we need to do.
What you hear there, Pac-Man? I'm still doing the research. Might be 20, might be a little more, might be a little bit less. I'm looking through it all.
Yeah.
Just mean he hasn't decided, right? Yeah. That's what I just heard out of him?
Yeah, I don't think he want what come with calling the plays. He want to be the head coach and not the guy that's going to be getting the point.
Well, because if you have somebody else calling plays, you can pass the buck at some point. Right. We fired the play caller.
And then I start calling plays. That's what I got out of it. Really good play callers want to call their plays. The Andy Reid's want to call their plays. So like, you get there because of you were so good at calling plays. So I don't see why you would change what got you there.
And AJ, to your point of we're trying to figure out if you're a good head. We found out you're a good play caller. That's why you got this job. We're going to find out if you're a good head coach or not, your leadership styles. But like what you're good at, we need to potentially keep here. Shane Steichen, if he was to give up play calling duties, I'd be like,
God.
Why are you the head coach, then?
Yeah.
He's got a sweet hat. I get it. He's really cool. But
cool shoes.
The reason why we have him is because look what happened to Philadelphia when he left. Yep. And then look what happened to us whenever he started calling our plays. It's like, that's why you're here. But I'm sure there's things that he's missing during the game whenever he's just calling the plays.
Sure, maybe. But, I mean, that's why you can hire another person to take care of stuff like that, too. But, like, wouldn't you want your fate in your hands, too? Like Daboll's...
Wouldn't mind having somebody to blame.
Sure, yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's true as well. But, like, and I believe Mike McDaniel last week came out and said that he thought about giving up play calling, too, but he's not going to. And, like, that one blew my mind even more than this. It's a weird thing right now, like, because especially in, like, McDaniel and the Dolphins offense, like, they were incredible. So why are you thinking about giving up play?
Well, that's like Doug Peterson with Jacksonville.
Yeah.
They make the playoffs, they do the entire thing. It's like, okay, they're finally finding it, and then I'm going to take my hands off here so I can do something else. Now, they had their success, and then it fell off whenever Trevor got hurt, so I assume there's another year of thinking about it. But, like, for me, it's why you're here is to call plays. It's why you got the job is to call.
It's a lot, though. think about it. It's a lot. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody can call the offensive plays and still be the head coach and kind of keep their head around everything, because there might be a time when you want to talk to the defense. You want to go talk to the DC or get on the phone and talk to some coaches up in the box, but you can't if you're calling the offensive plays at times. So I don't know. I mean, some guys can do it, some guys can't, but it's probably the most important position on a coaching staff, though.
Well, it's also definitely most important because you live or die. Matt Canada, shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
But like the week ahead of time, prepping, the amount of time.
So much more work for those guys. So much more work if you are the play caller and you're putting the plan together and you're calling the plays every day and walk through practice, games, everything.
This is what we want to work on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You got to put that whole thing together. And then how are we attacking this team? Well, you got to watch all the film to find that out. When are you calling what? Well, you got to be well-versed with what they're doing. In all those times, you're also getting a bunch of stuff across your desk at every other position and in the building. So I assume it is very time-consuming and energy draining to do it, but it's like that's why you're here.
Well, and obviously he's not just discounting the defense, but wouldn't it have made more sense like last year when you have Wink Martindale, like a guy who's got head coaching, offers before, like like now they have a first-year DC, so it's like he probably does have to be a little bit more involved because you have a guy who hasn't done it before. Like you had Wink, who can probably kind of handle everything from that aspect on his own and doesn't really need the input. I mean, we'll gladly take it from the head coach, but like he's been there, he's done it. Now it's like you have a guy who's never done it before, so like he does have to probably wear both hats more.